Hey you guys, so for like the last 3 days I've been pretty sick and I've been sleeping a lot. Like I have slept more in the last 3 days than I probably have this whole year. So a lot of times when I'm sick, I will have the craziest dreams, which while I've been sitting here, I've had time to like start thinking about all the crazy stuff that's happened to me since I was a child, that people used to think, especially my grandma, like, oh, you just have a wild imagination and blase blase. So just now I decided, okay, so I'm gonna start charting things that have happened to me, and I'm gonna start telling you guys about it. And first of all, I want to say that I did write down what I want to say because I have slight ADHD, and as I start talking about one thing, I will get off topic and move on to something completely, totally different. So, here you go. Okay, so I wrote about 5 or 6 years old is when I believe it all started. So I was probably about 5 or 6 years old, and it was probably around 1991, 1992. I said we, me, my sister, and I would take our weekends staying at my great grandma's house because she had her other two sisters and her brother, and they would all take their weekends. So once a month, my grandma, my sister, and I would all go stay at her house because she was by herself, and we always wanted somebody there taking care of her. So things were seemingly fine until it was time for bed. As I would lay between my grandma and my sister, the house was dark with a little blue light coming from the doorway, and the door would be open, excuse me. Our heads would lay facing the door, and it would be so silent I could hear a buzzing. You know how when the house is just so quiet, or the room is just so quiet, you can hear like a buzzing noise, like the silence is so loud? Okay, that's how it was. Excuse me, my throat is still sore. Anyways, my mind would wander as I'm trying to sleep in this uncomfortable and notably haunting house. And by haunting, I mean that as I would lay there trying to sleep, facing this bedroom door with the blue ambient glow on the floor, I would not only hear feet slowly shuffling down the hallway, but I would also see this robed figure going down the hallway matching those steps. And I would just dig my head down deep into my grandma's back, and I would cover my head up with the blanket. Look at me shaking talking about it. And then I don't know how, eventually I would just fall asleep, and then the next morning I would get up and I would tell my grandma about what would happen. And of course, she's like this God-fearing, church-going woman. We always went to church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, just to hear the things that I would tell her. She would just say, oh, you just have like a wild imagination, and like it was just always false to her. Like I would just be so tired that my mind would just come up with these things, she would say. But the truth of the matter is that sure, all children have open minds and can come up with extraordinary concepts, but I was experiencing the truth. Like I was experiencing this for real. My mind was not just playing tricks on me because I was tired. And funny thing is that my grandma, being that the Christian woman she was, and being raised in a Baptist church, like she was very careful about the things that we would be exposed to, my sister and I, because she raised us. And so up until I was about 10 or 11 years old, and she would be very careful about the music we would listen to, the TV shows we would watch. And so tell me how my mind would just come up with seeing ghosts, okay? Like, you've never seen or been told anything about stuff like that, and then you're just automatically seeing them. Okay, so this is just the beginning of some of the craziest ghostly experiences I've had. I'm writing them down, and as I start to chart things, I remember more and more memories are surfacing and coming back, including visits, dreams, orbs, astral projecting. Yes, like 3 times in my life, and it's very scary. And hauntings and paranormal activities. And I'm also writing this down, as I said before, so that as I'm making the video, I steer clear of my ADHD and I'm staying on topic. So as I start telling you guys these things, I'm going to start showing you pictures and videos that I have that go along with these stories. And just this one is the very first thing that I can remember, like as far back as I can remember. This is the very first ghostly encounter that I can remember. And so from then on, I've always been very intrigued and always want to know more, even though it kind of scares me. Also, I want to know, like, ever since I can remember, like, I've always been so deathly afraid of the dark and afraid of heights. And so now I'm wondering, like, maybe those contribute to how I died in a past life. Don't know. But as we dig deeper into things that I remember, I guess we'll start to figure some stuff out together. Because there is so much that I want to start going over. And this is just stuff that I can quickly remember. And as you can see, I start moving and shifting things around because I want to start putting them in order. So stay tuned. We're going to get into the heavy. Also, before I cut this video off, I just want to say that being older now and thinking back on that story, I'm starting to believe that it was my great-grandfather that was shuffling through the house at nighttime, because Granddad was gone probably 4 or 5 years before her. I don't remember him. I don't remember ever meeting him. I have pictures with him that my grandma has, but I physically do not remember him. So probably was him, but as a child, you know, that scared me so bad.